you, guys.
Well, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are back home in Los Angeles following their whirlwind visit to Australia. From visits to frontline charities, sporting events, reality TV appearances and luxurious retreats. Harry and Meghan did not waste a moment during their trip down under.
Now, the question now is, beyond the photo ops and philanthropy, have they won over Aussies and ultimately boosted brand Sussex? It's a big question. We're joined by news.com.au royal correspondent Bronte Coy. Hiya, Bronte.
Hello.
Things calming down for you? You okay?
Yeah, you talked about their busy week. It has been a busy week. I've been following them. I'm exhausted, but it's exciting.
Back in Montecito now. What do you reckon of the trip? Did they win any hearts? Have they swayed Aussies either way?
If you were a fan of theirs beforehand, you are more of a fan now. If you're a critic, you had plenty of reasons to pick up things along the way. I think it's going to come down to the commercial aspect. You said about brand Sussex. There is talk that she's going to be bringing, as ever, her brand to Australia. I think that we will know, really, whether she's won over those Aussies that maybe didn't have a strong opinion either way before when that gets launched, because it will be in the form of cold, hard cash. But on the ground, being with them, I can say they were very, very, very warmly embraced. Everywhere we went, people were so happy to see them. I was sort of listening in to see if there'd be any comments about maybe Harry's stoushes with the royal family from any monarchists, etc. But there was none, I got to say. For the whole week, there was people just very happy to see them.
Yeah.
Where did we end up landing on the wellness retreat, which was Friday evening? We know that Meghan attended that for around an hour or so, took part in like a Q&A session with the organiser. Some said it was people who were there said it was fantastic to hear from her firsthand. There's still that criticism, though, around the $3,000 a head charge.
Yeah, of course. And there was always going to be that criticism. I would say if you don't want to pay $3,000 to see Meghan, don't. It's always an option that's available. It was an hour speech. The people that were there said it was a very intimate setting. She didn't really say anything we hadn't heard before from speaking to people at the event. It was more about the highlights of her life in recent years and then the lower points that have been very well documented. It all wrapped up, as you say, at the rugby afterwards. She was at the wellness retreat for quite a short time. But I can tell you her team, who I spoke to later, were quite buoyant with how the tour had gone. By the time she got to the rugby, it all sort of was over at that point and they were celebrating, and it seemed that they deemed it all a success.
Can I just ask you about that? You say you spoke to her team.
Yeah.
Who is her team?
Who's a team?
We
want to be on a team.
Well, they have chief of staff. They would have assistants. They have publicists and communications directors, and they're all sort of putting together the whole operation. They're sort of coordinating it all.
So that's from the office of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Not the Archwell Foundation, but their own sort of personal staff.
Yeah, they have their own staff.
So you would have spoken to how many sort of different people? Yeah,
and you're just checking in. It was to see the mood after the tour had wrapped. I mean, I had seen it as being very positive because, again, I was there. I could see the fact that it had gone seamlessly.
But they had 3 or 4 or 5 people on the ground with them.
Yes, and then and they had said what I said, which was that everywhere they went, they were warmly received.
And would you describe them as traditional sort of royally type people, or are they more sort of LA management type people?
Oh, that's such a good question, Larry. I think that it's a bit more relaxed in terms of royal tours and royal events. They're extremely tightly coordinated and they're usually much larger teams. In this case, it did feel a little bit more relaxed. It was obviously planned out to the minute. But, you know, for example, the scenes at Bondi as we're walking through there, people being able to run up and get selfies and ask questions. I don't really think that would have happened if it was a William and Kate situation. So, yeah, it's a little bit more relaxed. There's a blend. I think most of the team is American, but there is a Brit as well. So, yeah, it's a bit of a blend.
Yeah, what you're referring to, the men in grey suits, as Diana would describe them. The couple landed back home in California. Meghan has released this on her Insta. She had the welcome home front entry sign from, presumably made from the kids or from somebody. And lots of books and cards that people had given the children from here.
Gifts, yes. It's quite sweet. It was a good wrap-up. I did see everywhere we went, people were giving them gifts, so I assume they had to get another suitcase to take all that back. Yeah. It's nice to see it all did get passed on to the children. But it was a shame they weren't able to bring them out this time. I wondered if maybe there was an opportunity for that in the future. People would love to see the kids here in Australia.
Yeah.
Well, those business class seats are very expensive.
What's all this about the names on the candles, on the as ever candles?
Yeah, she's bringing the kids more and more into the brand, and we're seeing that because she's also using them when she's promoting it on Instagram. So I think there has been, particularly this year, a massive uptick, as you can see the initials. So there's been a massive uptick in her bringing in the kids as part of that whole look, and I suppose it is because of it's a family brand, and she has been criticised in the past for, you know, for example, With Love Meghan, it was about her life and it wasn't shot in her house. So I suppose she's bringing them in a little bit more.
Yeah, okay. Let's move on. Ferguson. Fergie spotted for the first time in like 7 months, right, in Austria?
This has been fascinating. I have been following this for months because we just had not seen her, and she's one of the most famous faces in the world. So the fact she's managed to lay so low amid all this Jeffrey Epstein scandal is incredible. She has been spotted in Austria now. I think she was at a $4,000 a night sort of chalet, so not really slumming it there. It's quite a nice property. But she has been managing to keep out of the public eye because people have been wondering where she is, and they've been wanting to hear from her because, of course, she was named a lot in the Epstein files, and there was no criminality, but it's just those ties and the depth of that friendship.
Yeah, and the fact she's been keeping such a low profile. King Charles is set to meet Donald Trump very soon in the US.
Yes.
This is going to be a real test of King Charles' power, maybe influence. Interesting to see how this goes.
Absolutely. It's at a really critical time, of course, with the world in the state that it is currently. And the fact that Donald Trump is quite unpredictable, but I was there for the state visit last year when he came to visit with King Charles and Queen Camilla, and he just loves the royals. And there's always that question about what is their role. And I understand that throughout the years there has always been that question, what's the relevancy of them in today's society? And I think this is that perfect example of where this works. Donald Trump does listen to the king. They have a friendship. He's able to speak to him in a way that politicians would not be able to because he goes through that soft diplomacy, as the British love to say. And I think it will be very interesting because there was that example earlier this year where Donald Trump made a disparaging comment about the British troops, and it was reported at the time and not disputed by Buckingham Palace that there had been a call to the White House from the palace saying, hey, this wasn't great, basically, to paraphrase. And he walked back those comments, which we rarely see happen from the US president. So a critical time, very interesting.
They'll be having a little discussion about the Prime Minister too, because that was a bit of a stoush, right?
Absolutely. That's it. Keir Starmer does not have a great relationship with the president, and this visit is happening under Keir Starmer's direction. So he knows it's happening. He's sending in the king. We'll see what happens.
Hey, great to see you. You're heading back to the UK.
I am in just a couple of hours, so my last stop. It's great to see you.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks, Bronte.
Lovely to see you.
And if you missed any of Meghan and Harry's tour, head to Meghan's Instagram where she has put up a reel. Have you seen it? She's cut up all the highlights.
Isn't that what we all do on Monday?
That's right.
I think that's what we all do.
She's done a reel, including
go to our Instagram.
There's this one shot of the food. It's a really poor shot. Never would have made the cut in the Gillies reel, but she's put it in. Interesting. Anyway,
sounds like your weekend reel, exactly. Bronte, thank you.
Thanks, Bronte.
Good to see you.
Soon.